There seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark starting with WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes herself. Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, do you have any idea how that makes you look?
This is the most embarrassing a Hall of Famer has ever hated an athlete in any sport. Sheryl Swoopes goes crazy after Caitlin Clark exposed her more. You won't believe who she supported in her anti-Clark agenda. Diamond DeShields just leveled Caitlin Clark, just adding to the insane number of flagrants the Chicago Sky have committed on the superstar. Honestly, DeShields was nothing compared to the punishment her teammates dished out on Clark, but it is so clear that Angel Reese's jealousy has spread to the entire team. They are intent on burying Clark every time she touches the ball, and Swoopes somehow supports it? Sheryl Swoopes tweeted, "Heads up, kid, hate will not win. You are covered and ain't nothing these evil people can do about that. All love for you." That is an insane response. It's evil to not want cheap fouls in basketball? That take led to the WNBA taking Swoopes off Fever's next game as an analyst. And can you blame them? Her hatred for Clark is insanely biased, unfair, and straight up wrong at times. Just wait until you hear what Swoopes had to say about Clark's collegiate records. But first, do you actually know who Sheryl Swoopes is? That's the saddest thing about this whole tirade against the most popular player in the world. People are going to forget who Sheryl Swoopes was as a pro, and instead just think of her as the insane anti-Clark pundit, spewing false info and crazy takes. But the truth is, back in the day, Swoopes was a baller. The WNBA began in 1997 when Swoopes was 28 years old. She played for the Houston Comets and won the first 4 titles. That's right, Swoopes won the first 4 championships in the league's entire history. In 2000, she also won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, a feat she matched in 2002. When it was all said and done, Sheryl Swoopes had 4 rings, 3 MVPs, and 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. She was the first great player in the WNBA. So you'd think she knows what she's talking about.
You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball.
You'd be wrong. The crazy thing is, Clark has always respected Swoopes and the history of the game.
I'm sure it will be a big first step for me, but it's just one step for the WNBA. Thanks to all the great players like Sheryl Swoopes, Lisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper, the great Dawn Staley, and my basketball hero, Maya Moore. These are the women that kicked down the door so I could walk inside. So I want to thank them tonight for laying the foundation.
Her argument against Clark in college was actually insane.
I say this, yes, records are made and set to be broken. But if you're going to break a record, this isn't just for Caitlin.
She starts to make sense, but her numbers couldn't be farther off.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years.
Sheryl, Clark played 4 years. She actually broke Plum's record in less games.
Dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Like, you should be killing them. Because you've been doing it a lot longer than they have.
Seriously, Sheryl? How hard is it to Google Caitlin Clark age before going on a podcast? Clark is 22 years old, and she has already shattered a couple of WNBA records.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
And there, Sheryl was right. Clark is not taking 40 shots a game in the WNBA, but she also didn't in college. She averaged 22.7 shots per game at Iowa and never took 40 shots in a single game in her career. The idea that she couldn't even be bothered to fact check before spewing obvious hate-fueled lies is actually hilarious. But it's clear why Swoopes is doing this. She is jealous. We just talked about how Swoopes had a four-peat to start a career that had 3 MVPs, but it's likely you never heard her name until Caitlin Clark made her league famous. It's clear that Clark's impact on the WNBA is unlike anything we've ever seen. Just look at the numbers.
Look at this right here. National broadcast viewership. What are we talking about here? 1,000, what is that? 1.219? Is that the number? And the game afterwards got 485,000 views. So the Fever and their game against the Minnesota Lynx was 1.219 million. On Ion! On Ion!
Ion? Forget Clark's impact on the WNBA, Ion's stock is skyrocketing. But when you pair the fact that Clark's Fever gets 3 times the viewership of other teams on back-to-back slates with the WNBA's growth as a whole, it is so clear that she is single-handedly making the league better for everyone. And isn't that the goal?
Ain't hate. Rising tide lifts all boats. Whatever it takes for everybody to get fed, I'm all for it. You a WNBA player? Caitlin Clark gonna get you paid.
But we're not done with the Stephen A quotes, because Swoopes said one thing that was so insane, it almost made Stephen A's head explode. When Caitlin Clark was left off the Olympic team, some people were furious. Some people realized that she'd been playing literally non-stop for almost a year now, and she needed a break, whether or not she was a top 12 player in the league. And the break came at the perfect time, because the Fever, who hadn't made the playoffs since 2016 and started the season 1-8, are firmly in playoff position now. Did Swoopes give the Fever their flowers? Yeah, but if you think she congratulated Clark herself, you're crazier than Sheryl Swoopes.
This Indiana team, I'm gonna say shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Watch her in AU. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle and just couldn't miss. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double.
Sure, they're good and all, but she literally left off the one person who has completely been steering the Fever toward victory. Caitlin Clark, the best rookie of the year, and already one of the 5 best players in the league. Stephen A was furious.
You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it.
She had the chance to apologize the next time she was on Gilbert Arenas' show, but do you think she did?
I'm gonna say this, and then I wanna be done with this whole conversation.
You know what would end the conversation? I was wrong. Sorry, Caitlin Clark. You're a baller and I was wrong. But nope.
So for people to come at me and say that I made those comments because I'm a racist, first of all, black people can't be racist, but that's the farthest thing from my mind.
Well, no one was saying that. We're just saying you're bitter and jealous and more than a little delusional. If you're still waiting to see Sheryl Swoopes' apology, so are we. How do these people think that doubling down on their bad takes will make them look better? At one point, do they just say, my bad, and we can all move on? Instead, Swoopes is doing everything she can to hurt the legacy of an all-time great. And we are not talking about Clark. In the 1993 NCAA championship, Sheryl Swoopes dropped 47 points to beat Ohio State for Texas Tech's first ever title. When female hoopers finally had the chance to go pro 4 years later, she became an instant icon. Sheryl Swoopes was one of the most important players in the league's first era, and to this day, she might be considered the greatest WNBA player of all time. But now, when the WNBA is finally getting the attention she had fought for decades, she is destroying her own legacy. Because when it's all said and done, people won't care about how good she was on the court. They'll only care about this ridiculous, immature media campaign against Caitlin Clark, and honestly, it's pathetic. Do you think Swoopes will eventually stop her attacks on Clark? Did you even know who she was before Clark came into the league? Let us know in the comments, and if you think Swoopes was jealous, watch how other WNBA players are hilariously jealous of Caitlin Clark next. Listen to The Wrong Opinion, Useless NBA Trivia, and Garbage Rankings for more NBA content.